G'day everyone, it's Rafe here from Lubrication Expert, and the folks from Lube Expo have asked me to answer a few questions about the Expo as well as our industry in general. So here goes. The first question, what would you say are the top 3 challenges and opportunities for the industry at present? I think the first kind of both challenge and opportunity is the sustainability piece. We are uniquely placed and we are well placed from a sustainability piece in terms of the value that we can bring to the end user. I think the challenge that we have is communicating that value. A lot of end users are probably not aware of the way or the role that lubricants can play in their sustainability journey. And so communicating that, I think, is going to be very important for the industry. But number 2, I think the other challenge is how do we make our own operations more sustainable? I think that's going to be relatively simple for some of the big players. Your majors are going to have the administrative apparatus to be able to go through all those calculations and do all the auditing necessary. Some of the smaller players, I think, are going to be challenged a little bit because they don't have that, administrative workforce to be able to do that. Another challenge that I see and an opportunity is on workforce. So I've spoken about this pretty actively, and I've done a bit of writing on it. I think we face a bit of a challenge in terms of specifically the technical workforce. The way that careers are conducted these days, they follow a very different path to what we used to have. So if you think of most organizations have a lead technical person, whether that's a formulation expert or an industrial chemist who's been in that seat for a very long time and kind of knows where all the bodies are buried, that level of expertise where someone sits in a role for 20, 30, 40 years, that's not a career pathway which is really offered anymore. What you tend to find is people, maybe take on an engineering role, they go into field services, they might be drawn into marketing, and then they're taken into sales. And there's not the opportunity to develop like a deep level of technical expertise that maybe we used to. We're abrogating a lot of our responsibilities to the additive companies to kind of take on that technical leadership. I think that's a challenge as well. Now, where that's an opportunity is for younger people in the workforce. There is an aging workforce, right? And there's a whole bracket of people who are approaching retirement. I think there's a bit of an opportunity for us as individuals who are a little bit younger to kind of step into some of those roles. And the way that I would look at it is the volumes are projected to shrink a little bit in our industry, but the number of people in our industry, I would say, is going to shrink faster than the volume does. So if you think about it, the amount of volume per person is going up. And to me, that's career-wise a really good opportunity. Next question is, what sessions are you participating in and why are they topical? The opening session, which is always kind of the most well-attended at Lube Expo, usually a bunch of industry leaders who are putting forth kind of their state of play of the current industry, as well as what they see in that sort of near to medium term future. So I think everyone kind of has an interest in that, both from a business and a technical perspective. Second one that I'm participating in is on novel additive technologies. Personally got a bit of an interest in this because I love to see where the industry is kind of pushing the boundaries. I'm really excited by a number of startups who are doing some really interesting work, but the challenge has always been, how do you get mass scale adoption of some of these newer technologies? I think, there are reasons why something like, ZDDP as an anti-wear additive hasn't really moved much since, the World War II era. So as an industry, we're pretty conservative and slow to move because there are so many moving parts, but I always like to see what's on the cutting edge. All right, the next question. What makes Lubricant Expo so important for the industry and how is it different from the other events in the industry? Lubricant Expo is extremely well attended. So one of the things that I find, even from a networking perspective, is that it's really, really good because kind of everyone's there and almost economies of scale makes it so awesome. People who are willing to put forth their opinion. Most of the major finished lubricants, base oil, and additive companies are there as well. So it's an opportunity, to even run business meetings as well. It has a bit of a unique blend of both commercial and technical. So obviously there's technical discussions taking place in sort of the more formal part of the expo. And then on the floor, I think, which is always extremely well attended throughout the 3 days, you get a lot more of that sort of incidental interaction, which I think is one of the reasons why in-person events are still so important. Okay, fourth question. For anyone who's on the fence about joining the largest event for lubrication technology, why should they attend? Number one, it's free, right? So there's no downside to attending. Number two, I think there's a lot of valuable information to be garnered. And like I said before, a lot of connections to be made, both in a formal setting as well as an informal setting. So what I tend to find with the Lube Expos so far has been that, the actual expo itself is very well attended, but also it's the events that happen after the expo, the catch up for drinks, the catch up for dinner, business relationships are made. Been a really great forum for bringing the entire industry together. Some conferences tend to lean more to the technical side. Some tend to lean much more to the commercial side. This one, I think, is a really good balance of both. What are you most looking forward to at Lubricant Expo in 2024? Because the Lubricant Expo has become such a hub for so many people, it's a really good opportunity to connect with a lot of people who I either do work with on a regular basis or I'm interacting with online. A really good chance to meet and spend some quality time with those people, because nothing replaces that sort of in-person interaction.